It's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and where else would I be but here with you? DJ Stutz here with Little Hearts Academy USA and Imperfect Heroes. Sorry, I'm pulling something up here. Or I was. And if you haven't noticed, there's a new title on my Facebook page. And so instead of just Little Hearts Academy USA, it is now Little Hearts Academy and Imperfect Heroes. How cool is that, huh? So we are in my closet. So here you can kind of look around, see all the clothes. And then I have a mirror in the back. So I hang my shawl. I have a shawl that I hang back there, but this is where the magic happens. This is where I actually record my podcasts. I have the clothes here to give me the best sound. It's nice and quiet, and my dog doesn't come in. And I'm able to just have a nice conversation. I keep my computer here. See, there's my computer. Yes, it belongs to DJ. And this is where I have my notes for when I'm talking to someone on the podcast. And it's also, let's see if you can see. Here's my microphone that I use. I use a Yeti Blue. I don't know if any of you will know what that means. It's a good microphone. I like it. It's a pretty good microphone. And we just do that. I do Zoom, and then I have a program where I record the audio of the Zoom, and then I actually record the Zoom itself just for a backup, and we're ready to go. And that's how I run my podcasts. And I'm just having a little bit of an issue here with my notes, of all things. Wouldn't that be crazy? So anyway, today we are talking about my most recent podcast, which is, I think, pretty cool. And it is about mad science. Actually, happy science is what it's about. And I am talking with just this amazing lady. And she has a PhD. And what she studies is how people learn different things. And specifically, though, it's math and science. And when she had her son, she's got a cute, oh, he's so cute, this cute little guy. And she got interested in how the youngest people learn about this. And so she learned and supported what I have believed in for a long time, that our youngest kids are learning science from a super, super young age. So when Stephanie and I got to talking, I guess I should have said her name. Stephanie Ryan, Dr. Stephanie Ryan. And we got talking about how little kids, really young kids, are starting to learn science. Science impermeates everything around us. Science is cooking. Science is how we wash our clothes. Science is how we figure out that this belongs to me and I can move it. Have you seen that? When a brand new baby figures out that this thing that they've been looking at is theirs and they can control it, it's the most fun thing to see if you can catch them in that actual moment when they figure it out. I've seen it in a couple of my kids as they were little, when they came to that realization, and they get so excited, big smiles and everything. When kids start saying, oh, I like the trucks. So maybe your little guy is going to put all his trucks in one spot and all of his cars in another spot. And maybe he has a place for emergency vehicles. Okay, he's differentiating what he's seeing, and he's categorizing his toys. So if it's cars, it could be blocks, it could be dress-up clothes, it could be their own clothing even. And what's really fun is as soon as they start learning their colors, I've had a lot of fun because they get excited to do that. When they're teenagers, they don't care so much to do this. But when they're little guys and they want to come down and help me sort the laundry. And so we can so I have a thing I do: whites, light colors, dark colors, and then we have towels and sheets. And so I can ask them, is this dark? Is this light? Is this white? And they will help me put them in the right basket. And they really enjoy doing that. They're learning science. So when we're thinking about our kids and science, isn't it exciting to see how they learn these things? What is the process that they go through? It's really quite miraculous. So what are some of the things that we can do with our little ones, our kids, our grandkids, our students, right, to encourage them in learning about science? So I can tell you that we're studying spring right now in my classroom. And in fact, on Thursday, we're getting ready to have a parent day where the parents get to come and do a project with their kids and have some fun. And today we did the standard, but why can't you do this at home? We got, I got some seeds. They were peas, so that you could see that they were big enough. But we talked about how when you're eating peas, you're eating seeds, right? And so they're like, oh, wow, it's seeds. And so we were looking at that. We looked at how small carrot seeds are. We have like one of those, it's called a root view is what it's called. If you want to look it up, they're really cool. And I'm sure there are a lot of different styles. I happen to have one called a root view. And so it's got a it's plastic, a clear plastic side that goes down like this. They give you this special super nutrient soil to put in. And there's a whole watering system. You have like a fabric rope that goes up like a wick. And then there's a water trough where the kids put the water. But the cool thing is when you plant the seeds, you put them next to the plastic. And then as they grow and sprout and they would get roots and all of that, the kids are able to see all of it. There's no reason you couldn't even just make your own. One of the things that we did today with our kids was each one of them got their own baggie. It was just a baggie, Ziploc thing. And we put in just a little bit of soil. For this experiment, they don't really need the soil, but it's good for them to see that soil is part of the process on plants. And so we put a little bit of soil in. We got the wet paper towel, right? And we put it in there. They each got 3 pea seeds to put in there. And then we sealed it up. And then we hung it on the window. So I happen to have, just to display student work, I have 2 big windows in my classroom. And so each one has a little rope with clothespins on it. And so we just use those. I've used tape in the past, just tape it up there. And then every day the kids get to come and look. We made predictions about how many days do you think that it will take before we see the seed starting to open up and to grow a plant. What do you think is going to come first? Is it going to be the root, or is it going to be the stem and the leaves? And so the kids gave all their predictions. Now, mind you, I've got some kids that just kind of started at the end of the year. I've gotten 4 new kids since spring break, all who had just turned 3. They're in my morning class. So my afternoon class is the kids getting ready to go to kindergarten. And so even these little kids just turning 3 were excited and we're curious and we're wondering, and why are we putting it by the window? And they had questions, and that's all science. Isn't that wonderful? It's all science. And so those are kind of fun things. I did talk a little bit in our podcast how my oldest daughter was really good at going out and picking up a lizard if they found them, or toads and frogs and even garden snakes. I'm not doing that, but she does. Good for her. And So the kids love being outdoors and looking for things and hunting for things. And I remember when my kids were young, we lived in an area and there was like it was like a pond, a retaining pond that was dry some of the time, water some of the time. And they would often go down there and they would catch a frog or they would catch something and bring it home. And I'm like, oh, yay, here's the box. Let's keep them outside. And then we'd release them by the end of the day. They would just wanted to look at them. But you can talk about, what do you see? How many fingers do they have? How many legs do they have? And then you can also talk about how we are gentle with them. We don't want to hurt them. If you go to my website, www.littleheartsacademyusa.com, you will find in the kids section, I read a story called Hey Little Ant, and I highly recommend it. It's a great little book, and I found it on Amazon, and someone told me about it, and so I ordered it, and I actually really liked it. And this is a story about a little boy, and he is about to step on an ant and squish him. And the ant is talking to him and saying, hey, please don't squish me, you know. And they have this whole conversation about how ants are important. And the boy's like, you steal our food out at the picnic. And he's like, but just one crumb will feed my whole family. It's a cute little book, but if you want to teach your children about respect and honoring, you know, some of the animals that we don't really respect and honor. And I got to tell you, I got nothing on the mosquito. I've looked it up. I can find no use for a mosquito. But ants serve a purpose. Flies serve a purpose. Do we want them in our house? No, we don't. But they serve a purpose. Bees serve a purpose. And what is the work that they do that helps us as human beings in the world? And they help plants. And so one of the things that we've been talking about in my classroom is about how birds and bugs help plants to grow. And we've talked about how they get, you know, the bees and the butterflies and stuff, they'll get pollen on their feet, on their legs, and some they'll take it back to use to make honey. They'll take it and go to different flowers and help pollinate other flowers and how important that is. We've talked about how birds will come, and they love this, that birds will come and eat the seeds, and then they fly off. And what do they do when they fly off? And the kids think it's hysterical because they poop, right? They poop. And what's inside the poop though? The seeds. And so the seeds will come down and the rain comes down and we have a new plant growing because the birds actually can help grow new plants. So we're talking about all of these interactions, and I'm talking about this with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And it's pretty exciting to see them go for that. And so there's so many things that you can do. Summer's coming up, and I feel like this is the first of my getting ready for summer series in time, right? We're starting to think about that. What are we going to do with the kids? And so Stephanie gives us some great ideas on some things to have on hand so that you can always have a fun science experiment. What are some of the things that you can watch out for to maybe learn that they're ready for something new? And you know, honestly, they never get tired of just, if you got vinegar and baking soda, we're in business, right? And I put it in the clear, empty ornaments, like from Christmas. You can get those at the craft store if you have some laying around that were left over from Christmas. And then I'll put a little glitter in there with the baking soda. And then I get like a turkey baster or something like that. And then I'll get the vinegar, white vinegar, and squeeze it in. And it just oozes all over the place. And the kids are so excited. They never get tired of that. Another thing that I've done that's a lot of fun with the little guys is I'll take a plate and I'll so, you know, not the big dinner plate. That's a lot of Skittles. But I get Skittles and I line them around the edge of the plate. It's a good time to talk about patterning too. Patterning is science. It's also math. It's also science. Something to think about. So I'll line that, and then as they're all around the edge in a big circle, pour hot water just in the middle of the plate and get it up. And guess what? It makes this beautiful rainbow that just kind of feeds in, and the kids get to watch it expand. I'll tell you, they don't care if they eat soggy Skittles. They will still eat them. But it's a lot of fun, and the kids have a great time. And so I am just kind of excited about this episode. Stephanie Ryan is fantastic. And you think PhD, science, math, she's got to be stiff. Oh my gosh, she's so much fun to talk to. We had a great time. She's very bubbly, very happy, and it was just a lot of fun talking with her. And so I think that you'll really enjoy it. You'll get some great ideas on some of the things that you can do. Now you don't have to wait till summer, but some things to kind of put in that back pocket for our summer break. So I hope you'll listen to it. It's available now. It's at www.imperfectheroespodcast.com, or you can find it wherever you listen to your podcast. So Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. I'm on a bunch of others. Now I'm having a brain fart. I can't even think. iHeartRadio. I'm on all kinds of them. And so just look for Imperfect Heroes, DJ Stutz, and you'll find it. Even if you just throw in DJ Stutz, you're going to find it, because that's the only one I have. There is another person I found out on Facebook. His name is DJ Stutz, and he's an actual DJ. He's not a teacher. But that's his job, not his name. So anyway, that is so much fun. I hope that you'll look into that. I hope that you'll go to hear and listen with your kids. Sit down with your kids and listen to the reading of Hey Little Ant, which is on my website with a couple other stories and things. And then I am getting ready. It's almost ready. So in 2 weeks, I am going to have a workshop available. Now, last year I did this, but I didn't do a workshop with it. I just kind of made the materials available, and whoever wanted them could get them. This year, I'm kind of amping it up a little bit, and we're going to do a short, it's not a long workshop, less than an hour, a little less than an hour. And I'm talking about our summer and how to have this awesome summer. So I'm talking about what kind of goals can you make? What can you do to help your child retain and not lose some of the knowledge that they had at the end of the year before they start the new school year? And then, what are some goals that you might have for you? And how do you measure those goals? And what are some good goals to make? You want to make something that is measurable, that you can see your progress on, or that you can see your child's progress on. I also have some travel guides. And so what are some of the things that you want to be sure you're not forgetting when you're traveling? And I also have a scavenger hunt. I've got one right now. It's for car travel and one for air travel. I don't know if if you're going to travel by train or bus, I don't have anything for that. So, but let me know if you want one. I'll put it together for you. I'll be happy to put it together for you if you want one. So just let me know if that's something that you want. But it's not going to be available for another 2 weeks. And you'll be able to sign up and get this. So we've got the scavenger hunts. I've also got a little piece on how to make a travel map for your kids. And so it really is a thing where you're going to have to do a little bit of work, and I can't do it for you because everybody's traveling to different places from different places. And so I have a sample there of one that I did last year for my granddaughter as we traveled from Salt Lake City to Oroville, California, and she was in the car with us. And this was right at the end of her kindergarten year, so it was perfect. And we had a lot of fun with her looking, and it was in order of how we travel. So first we're going to stop at, I think it was the Bonneville Salt Flats, and then there was Winnemucca, and then there were some other towns that we were looking for, some state parks that we would see, and some different things like that. So she could see how close we were getting to our destination. I did not hear, are we there yet? Are we close? When are we going to be there? I did not hear it once. And that's a long drive. That is over an 8-hour drive. And she was amazing. And she fell asleep one time, a little over an hour. And she woke up and her first voice was, what did I miss? Did I miss my thing? And so I told her that, well, while you were asleep, we checked off this and we checked off that. Oh, okay. But it helped her see visually how long it was taking us to get to where we needed to be. We had where we were going to stop for eating and all of those things, different hotels. You know, we were in Nevada, so different hotels that we would be passing. And she really enjoyed looking for the signs, and I would help her because she was kind of reading, but you know, signs are pretty heavy reading for post-kindy, pre-first grade kiddo. And so I would help her a little bit. We'd look for initial sounds and all those kinds of things. But it was great, and we had a wonderful time. All of this is going to be in our amazing summer workshop. That's what you're going to be looking for. I'm just letting you know, 2 weeks, and we'll have that out for you. So that's it, pretty much. I'm actually, as soon as I sign off here, I'm going to be recording some intros and outros for some of my upcoming podcasts, and we'll be getting them ready to post. And so I hope that you'll be looking for those. We're getting some really fun following. Our numbers are increasing. We're getting to more and more places, more and more countries. I'm really surprised at how many countries we have with listeners. Israel even, Australia, New Zealand. We've got them, of course, in Canada. We've got some in Germany, and we've got some in England. And it's really kind of fun to have that kind of response and interaction with people from all around the world who are really just looking to be the best parent that they can be and accepting it's never going to be perfect. And so instead of beating yourself up about it, then we want you, and we have someone coming up that's going to be talking a little bit about that. But instead of beating yourself up about it, just say, oh, hey, Ryan, catching me right at the end. So instead of beating yourself up about it, you just say, oh, I didn't do this right. Why didn't I? Why did I get upset? And what can I learn from this? And if you're going with that kind of attitude, instead of saying, oh, I'm a terrible mother. Oh, I can't believe I yelled at my kids again. You know, sit down and think about it and look at what was going on. And so we have a whole new episode coming up on that. Next week's episode is another one. You know, April is Autism Awareness. And, you know, last week we had a conversation on autism. And then next week we're having someone that is as an expert in travel. She's been a travel agent. Her parents were travel agents. She worked in their company, and then she became an author and a reporter for several travel magazines. And so she's done a lot of research and a lot of work, and she is coming out towards the end of summer. In I think August it's opening up, but on traveling with children who are neurodivergent. So that means their brains process things differently. So that could be a child with autism, ADHD, reactive attachment disorder. It could be oppositional defiant. It could be dyslexia, all kinds of things, anxiety, things that go on. And it's kind of hard sometimes traveling with those kids. The interesting thing is, and I've said this before, a lot of the advice that you get in working with some of these neurodivergent kids works super well with our typical kids. And so it's just great information for you. So that's going to be next Mondays. So you'll want to listen for that. And that this right now is the one on creating our own mad scientists and how exciting that is to do. So until next week, I hope I'll hear you or see you or watch you, I don't know, whatever I do on the podcast. I hope we'll connect there, and then I hope we'll connect next Tuesday. And until then, let's find joy in parenting. Good night, everyone.